Hey everyone, my name's Chris Lambert. We got Archer sleeping back there, and on this channel we talk Kanye West, and today we're talking 88 Keys, and I'm really excited about this because I hope this means that 88 Keys is doing something for Donda. Okay, so you can see here Mercedes Benz Stadium. We're just kind of going through all the people that have been showing up the last couple days as Kanye is hopefully in the final week before the next listening party and album release. This is posted by Prophet the producer. I tried finding more information on him and was kind of struggling. I saw that he's friends with Malik Youssef, and I think part of Malik's production group or art group, but beyond that, I couldn't really find anything. So if you know more about Prophet the producer, please inform me. But 88 Keys is someone that I do know something about. So you can see here going to 88's Instagram, Grammy Award winning producer. Not enough followers, deserves more. But he's like OG with Kanye. You can see here that he even had vote for Kanye West 2020 write-in. You see him and Consequence hanging out. They were just kind of like hanging out, and Consequence, or they weren't hanging out, but Consequence joined them on live. So we know how close Consequence still is to Kanye. And these three actually go all the way back to New Jersey Kanye, Newark, New Jersey, 2000 era Kanye. Consequence was sleeping on the couch. 88 Keys also lived in the city, was up and coming producer in the underground scene mostly. And they were all three friends back in those early days. And you even see here a photo that Keys has moments before we hit the stage together in Oregon. And it's just like young Kanye with a hat on and what looks to be just a grimy ass room. But going into some more details about 88 Keys, born in New York City, years active from 1998. So dude was 22 years old when he got started in New York City. He's been part of Good Music and some other labels, associated acts, Kanye West, Kid Cudi, Consequence, Black Star. Yeah, that's what I want to really start getting into. Is you can see here that one of his first placements was Black Star. Mos Def and Talib Kweli are Black Star, Thieves in the Night. This is one of my all-time favorite songs. 1998 song as well. I don't know if you've ever listened to Mos Def and Talib Kweli or Black Star. One of the best hip-hop albums of all time as far as I'm concerned. The run of songs from, where is it, KOS through Twice in a Lifetime, I think is one of the greatest runs in any album. It's so good. And it's not like these songs are bad. These are all great songs, catchy songs, especially like Definition and Redefinition back to back, man. But Thieves in the Night is special. Thieves in the Night is a song that I just vibe to. I love. The production's amazing. Like Quelly and Mos Def's performances are amazing. It's so good. Okay, so that's just me pitching that everybody should go listen to that album. But you can see like he went from Black Star to Macy Gray, worked with Mos Def on Black on Both Sides, which is another highly acclaimed album. Worked with Beanie Siegel on The Reason. What else do we got going on here? So he became friends with Kanye like in this period, and yet you don't see him doing any production on anything Kanye related. Consequence, Take Him to the Cleaners, which was big for Consequence too. I think that was one of Kanz's debut albums or first big albums. Quelly album, Consequence album number 2. 88 Keys dropped an album himself in 2009, but it wasn't until 2011 that we finally got an 88 Keys Kanye collaboration. And do you know what it was? I mean, you can see right there what it was, so I don't know why I'm building this up, unless you're listening to this in the audio version or not paying attention to your screen. But No Church in the Wild, which is, I think, safe to say, one of the best songs on what's it called? Watch the Throne. Like you have No Church in the Wild, you have Otis, of course, you have In Paris. Typically the ones that I think people debate as the best ones. I think of those three, like I love the production on Otis. In Paris is just unrivaled in terms of its radio status, and popularity. But I think No Church in the Wild is the one that does it for me. Like that song is just special. It sets the mood. It's grandiose. It's alluring. And yeah, that's 88 Keys and Kanye finally collaborating like officially on a joint. So, and then he also worked on Can't Stop, which was the Kanye West produced song for Theophilus London. And then did the That's Life song featuring Mac Miller and Sia, which was a very emotional posthumous song featuring Mac Miller. But you can see here that they actually did this. Kanye featured on this 88 Keys song called Stay Up Viagra. And they made this full music video where they go old men, like just the makeup on. And they're just old guys throughout this entire video. And they have these women with them, kind of taking him around on a date. It's a little outrageous. Kanye fakes a heart attack at one point. It's a funny video, and you get some great Kanye verses on it as well. It's just kind of fun to watch. But here is cool too, because this is 88 Keys doing an interview on, what's it called? People's Party, Talib Kweli's podcast. And this is last year, and it's 10 minutes. It starts with Kweli saying, like, you're still close to Kanye, right? And Keys says, like, yeah, we texted this morning. Like, they are still 20 years later friends and continue to talk, continue to be in touch. And he talks about how when he met Kanye, like, Keys was more of a known entity at that point than Kanye was. And Kanye kind of came up to him and was like, oh, you're 88 Keys, like, cool. And 88 Keys is like, yeah, who are you? And he talks about, like, finding out more about Kanye, and that Kanye is telling him all these production credits. And he's like, oh, cool, a fellow producer. And that Kanye goes, I'm going to be a star. And Key is just like, what? Did you just say, why are you telling me? We just met and you're telling me what? So then Kanye starts rapping to him, and Keys is just like, okay. Like, cool, man. And they start walking. And it's just like a funny story of they're walking to the subway, and Keys figures that Kanye lives out in like Brooklyn or Queens, somewhere out there. But Kanye just keeps walking with him to the New Jersey Transit. And finally Keys stops him and is like, where are you going? Like, where are you going? Because I'm going here. And he's like, oh no, I live in Newark. And he's like, oh, me too. And Keys wasn't like annoyed with Kanye at that point. So the conversation was nice. It was just like a little bewildering because he didn't know if Kanye was following him home, what was going on. And they hung out the next day. And I love this part because we always talk about Kanye in movies. And he says that, you know, he thought they were going to do the typical producer thing where you just focus on music. So Kanye comes by Keys' place, and Keys starts showing them the production area, and they're playing some songs and doing the music thing. But then Kanye goes to the living room and sees Keys' DVD collection and goes, oh man, I have that one, I have that one, I have that one, and just starts geeking out about the movies. And that's when things kind of transitioned from just being musical acquaintances to just being friends, because they're talking about movies. And then he says that Kanye saw the PlayStation, and then they just played PlayStation for hours. He says that Kanye got there at noon and didn't leave until 2 a.m. And then the next day he went to Kanye's place and they just did the same thing. And that he actually introduced Consequence and Kanye. And Kweli talks about how going to that apartment in Newark, when he met Kanye, and Consequence was just always sleeping on the couch. And Keys is just like, yeah, I introduced him. That was me. But he said that he spent 4 to 5 hours a day with Kanye every day for 4 years. Like, in that time from 2000 to 2004, when Kanye's album dropped, he was just hanging out with Kanye every day. That's how close they are. It's kind of funny that you would think that they would have collaborated a little bit more, but they just never have that one song. So that's why it's kind of exciting to imagine that Keys is there to maybe do some musical work, because the last time the two worked together in No Church in the Wild, amazing. With that said, we do know that Donda is mostly complete. I mean, we know that Kanye can work up to the last minute. He can add things. That's not to say that he wouldn't just sit down and start jamming with 88 Keys and come up with some new song that we had no idea was going to exist. That's very possible, but it's also possible Keys just kind of came through to see his friend. One of the sweet parts of this, and that's really relevant to this album, is that when we get to the end here, Keys starts talking about, wow, I did not want that to happen. How do I make that stop? Okay. At the end here, Keys starts telling a story about Donda came to visit Kanye in New Jersey. And Kanye's like, hey, I want you to come through and meet my mom. And he's like, oh, okay. And he goes and he meets Donda, and Donda asks him to come and sit down. And they start talking. And she's like, hey, I talk to Kanye every night. We talk on the phone. And I just want to tell you, I may cry. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you, because he told me how he made a real friend here. I'm not crying just because it's Kanye. I'm crying because I've also lost my mom, and just thinking about my mom getting to meet people that are special to me. that she's never gotten to meet, like my wife, just brings on the waterworks, you know? But he was saying how special that was, that Donda essentially was just like, your family now. Like, he tells me that you take care of them, you look out for them. Like, I want you to know that you're family. And he's saying that he had never had a conversation with his mom that was that kind of emotional and meaningful, and just how much that meant to him. So I can imagine why he's just kind of coming through for an album like this that's in memoriam to Donda. So that was a really sweet story. Like, in 10 minutes, you just get all these stories from 88 Keys. So even though I spoiled a majority of the video, I hope you give it a watch, you know, because it is cool to hear Quelly and 88 Keys just kind of reflect on their relationships with Kanye and hear these early day Kanye stories. And then again, I'm just hoping they do something for the album. So that's it for this video. If you're enjoying the channel and you want to support us, the easiest way is to like, subscribe, comment. Any of those things tell YouTube this is a channel people enjoy, so then they show it to others, which goes a long way in helping us. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, stay wavy and keep it loopy. Cheers.